Hey everybody, we are starting to go live right now. We're going to go live on all social media platforms. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm going to start Facebook up here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start Instagram. All right. We are live streaming off of 3 separate platforms right now. I see I got a couple people in here. So basically what we're going to cover today is we're just going to do question and answer, have a discussion, anything you guys want to ask. I also wanted to talk a little bit about where we are in our journey, some of the highs of this year, some of the lows. Basically just have a discussion with everybody out there that's watching. So in the right-hand side, you'll see a live chat button. Don't forget, go in there. You can type questions in there. And we can cover a number of different things. So as you'll see, I want to show all 3 of you different platforms should be able to see the pictures. So when my wife and I remodeled her grandmother's farmhouse in 2011, we found some pictures that they had in the house. These 2 up here were in the house originally, and then one of the older ones that's all the way over there. Sorry for the other couple platforms. I'm not going to move you. For those on Instagram, these ones right here. And for those on Facebook, you can't see them. But, and then we added these 2 right here more recently. I found a place online had they called it vintage. I think it's called Vintage Aerial. And you could go on there and you could actually find your farm. And you could find photos of your farm and you had to pay for them. So we went on there and got that. The one right here actually was a picture that I took earlier in the spring of 2020 after I got the drone. And yeah, so took some photos of the farm, and that's kind of what we have in our living room or in our dining room right now. Just kind of shows the different years. So this one here is from 1968. That one's from 73, and the one that's all the way over here, which I'm going to grab it because I'd like to show you guys. It's actually the oldest photo out of all of them. It's from the early 50s. The date's actually written on the back. So this photo, I know, okay, focus up here. So this photo, all 3 platforms can see. Shows the house. The house is actually red insul brick. My buddy Adam, he called it a 3/3. So there's 3 rooms upstairs, 3 rooms downstairs. You can see there was no milk house for the barn. The sheds weren't here. There was an old chicken coop up top that's in one of the photos from 1963, but not in the one from the 70s. And yeah, no sheds and no silo. So this was the oldest photo / painting. I don't really even know what this is, but this is the oldest one out of all of them. And it's 1958 is the date that's written on the back of it. So pretty cool. Hey, Travis is here. What's up, man? Travis is an awesome fan. Travis comments on every video. Lucky to have you here, Travis. Thanks for joining. All right. We'll have to get that photo later. It's a little crooked. So on Facebook, I got 3 folks. I got Derek, Ray, and Charles or Chuck. On Facebook or on YouTube, it says I got 4 people in here. Travis is in here. And then on Instagram, I have my dear friend Soledad. Welcome. Glad to have you. Haven't seen you in forever. Hopefully you'll make it up this way this summer. So gonna open it up. Oh, Mooch, on Facebook. What's up, Mooch? Hey, don't forget, if you guys have any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. I'll try to get to you. Yep, we are streaming on all 3 platforms. We've got Facebook here, we've got YouTube here, and we've got Instagram over here. So another cool thing. So look at the hat. Pretty sweet hat. So we did end up getting some hats. So I'll show you all 3. So we've got the camo Rocky Acres fitted hat. We've got the all black Rocky Acres Farmstead hat. And then we've got this one here. So branching out on a little bit of merch. Some people were asking about it, so we will have some available. Hooking up with some folks, making some shirts, and yeah, more to come on that. Don't have really a way right now to get those out there for any kind of sale yet. But if the people want them, if people ask or want them, then we can come up with a way of getting that out there. So let's talk a little bit about highs for the year. So I covered this in my yearly update. So it's been a little bit over 1 year since we started to do YouTube. Year 1, we're at 730 some subscribers, 733 subscribers right now, which is fantastic. I said it before in older videos, 732 more followers than my wife ever thought I'd get. So we're marching our way to 1,000. So if you're watching this and you are not subscribed to the channel, I ask you, go ahead, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, doesn't cost a thing. You've heard me say before, I'm not even going to go through it. We have done extremely well on subscribers, and I'm really, really proud of that, really happy of that. We've got over 6,000 hours of watch time. 6,000 hours of watch time. That's phenomenal. That's great. Some of the videos that I never thought would do that well, the boiler videos, they're blowing up. I mean, I've got one that's over, I think, 23,000, views on, and then other ones are catching up. The how to load my furnace video, it's probably over 11 or 12,000 right now, which to me is crazy. Yeah, it's 11,000, something like that. So those videos are doing really well, and I'm pretty happy with that. Those videos, I put those out there because not a lot of folks heat their homes with outdoor boilers. It's kind of a more common thing here, but wow, people really wanted to look at that stuff. The hay videos, some of the hay videos are doing really well. Others, we need to get them out there a little bit more. And then, some of the videos, like the garden one, even tilling the garden, that's probably one of the top 10 videos that we've made. How to just tilling the garden is doing really well. So those are some of the highs for the year. Some of the lows this year is just not being able to be around friends due to COVID-19, and this is an outlet. Like I said, I have a friend of mine from Argentina right now that I worked with in a previous life that's watching me right now on Instagram. So it's pretty awesome to be able to stay connected with folks like that. And technology is a fickle thing. Another thing, so cheers to everybody. Some Farmstead beer. This is something my brother-in-law Dave and I decided to do as like our COVID project. I don't know, hobby. We ended up doing, I think 13 batches of beer. Each batch of beer would basically give us about 2 cases of bottles. It's something I never thought I'd do, is brew beer, but it actually turned out pretty good. Right now I'm drinking an Oktoberfest. This is probably one of my favorite beers that we brewed this year. And for those of you who can't see it, the Oktoberfest, in my opinion, is probably one of the better ones. So cheers. I'm going to take a sip. So what are we looking for? I see Brian Dilmuth joined us over here on Instagram. Hi, Brian. I had Ray on our Facebook page said those double IPAs hit me hard. Yes, the double IPAs were a little bit strong. We're going to try to do an Imperial Pumpkin this year. The pumpkin beer was really good. So hopefully maybe we'll videotape making the Imperial Pumpkin this year. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is the goal. So the goal for this channel, for all these different outlets, was to create a business not only for the farm. So we used to milk cows. We do not milk cows anymore. We haven't milked cows since 2015. But we wanted to stay farming. This ground has been in my wife's family. My daughters are the fourth generation. So they're my wife's grandmother, my wife's mother, my wife, and now my daughters on this farm. So we want to make sure that this stays a functioning farm. So Rocky Acres Farmstead is an outlet for us to make hay, sell hay to our wonderful customers. Like I see Kelly's on the Facebook page right now. She's a hay customer of ours. Lovely lady. And, this outlet, Rocky Acres, is something that, because I was able to sell hay, create a business, I got to meet wonderful people like Kelly. So one, business. Yep. The farming side. We're going to keep that. That's one of the reasons why we did this. Two, a lot of people that I worked with. So I worked for, I'll say, a Fortune 100 company up until December 31st of last year. I'm sure you've seen me wear hats of said company. They decided to leave the area. I am not leaving the area. See, that's kind of why I'm not leaving the area. Right here and right here. So I decided to stay here and not leave the area. When I was working there, a lot of folks would be like, "Hey, Nick, what are you doing this weekend?" Blah blah blah. And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got a home and ore." Or, "Oh yeah, we're cutting hay." Or, "Oh yeah, we're doing this." And they were like, "Wait, I don't get it. You have a farm. You work at a farm and work a full-time job?" Well, yeah, my father-in-law works a full-time job. My sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, or my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my wife, we all work full-time jobs. So this was a way for them to see kind of a different way of life, right? So gardening, canning, farming, the whole 9 yards. This was an outlet for them to see that. So that's what we wanted to do. And to make it, something that we just started, the goal is to monetize the channel, right? So we need to get to 1,000 subs. So went a long way around this, but we need to get to 1,000 subs. Right now we're at 733, and we're growing daily. I mean, there's some days where we'll pick up 10 subs. There's some days we'll pick up 4 subs. There's some days we'll pick up 2, and there's some days we don't pick up any. It's just the way that it is. And, every time I get a sub, that kind of reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Somebody's enjoying the content. I've got guys on there like Travis that comment on every video. I know Travis watches a ton of the videos, and I appreciate every one of the views, Travis. I really do. And, yep, that's kind of why we're doing it. So once again, I want to open it up. Questions. Travis got a question. How's the wood stove doing? The wood stove is doing really well. So I posted the most recent update video on the furnace was an upgrade to the air system. So I worked with a guy off of Central Boiler Facebook page. He sent me the air channels for a 560 HDX, and you can actually put them in a 550 HD. So that's what I did. Tore the old air system out, put the new air system in. It's in the video. And it's doing well. It doesn't appear, because that air tube stays off of the fire jacket, it doesn't allow, without getting too nerdy, it doesn't allow creosote to build up on that air jacket and cut off the air. So the upgrade works. It works really well. I don't want to get too far into it yet, because I want a whole heating season with it to see if there's any kind of bridging issues or anything like that. So that, so far, to answer your question, Travis, the wood stove's doing great. You know, it's probably 30 degrees outside right now ish, and it's nice warm 72 degrees in here. So like I said, once again, I'm opening up. Anybody's got questions, I've got viewers on the Instagram side, I've got some on the YouTube side, and some on the Facebook side. So I will ask you this: if you're watching right now, what are some things that you guys would like to see covered? Would you like to see, you know, maybe me walk through what machinery we have? I know some, the last time I got a message about some things that people would like to see. They want to see the Can-Am thing. They want to see me do I guess a review on our Can-Am. So we have a Can-Am side by side. We use it a ton. So I got Alan Johnson over here on, sorry to cut that off. I got Alan Johnson over here on Instagram, and he said, Alan was an old boss of mine at a previous employer. It was a government job. And he said, did you ever think that this seems like an extension of your first out of college job as an educator? No, I really haven't thought of it that way, but it's kind of like the same thing. So for those who don't know, when I first graduated college, I got a job working for the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and I was lucky enough to work for Alan. Alan is the park manager at Ryerson. It's a great park if you're in the area. I know, Soledad, you like to go to Raccoon Creek. Stop down at Ryerson Station in southern Greene County. Alan's a great guy, great park, close to my heart. I never thought of it that way, Alan, and it's kind of funny you say that now. I see a little bit of that, right? So I had to put on environmental education classes. I wouldn't call them classes, but for park goers, we'd cover like mushroom picking, etc. You know, I had to make it fun, or else they didn't want to come. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like it. It's just me talking to myself, though, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, good point. Christner Farms, friends down the road, neighbors of mine, they asked if I fixed the kicker on the baler yet. The answer is absolutely no. I haven't fixed it. I haven't fixed it yet. That's one of the projects coming up. Right now we have fuel pump out of our 806. It's up in my father-in-law's garage right now, so it's taking up precious real estate. I have to fight my brother-in-law Dave for my father-in-law's garage's real estate. I have to fight my father-in-law for it, and I have some of my own stuff up there. So, and we've got cousins that put motors in the corner, and it's crazy. But no, haven't got there yet. I'm getting there. It's going to be something that we film for sure. Kelly said, thanks, Nick. I'm so glad we met. You and the whole family are wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So Kelly said, yes, I have a question. Where can I buy your hat? We need t-shirts too. So t-shirts and hats are going to be up for sale here shortly. I got to figure out a way to do it. I don't have an e-commerce platform yet. So right now it's probably going to be like meet and greet, like, hey, you need a hat, or I'll mail it to you, something like that. And we can cover that down the road. But yeah, drop me a line. We'll figure out something. We can get those mailed out. So the farming life, I see him on YouTube. How are you? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope all's well. Hope you're settling in. If anybody on that uses YouTube, go check out the Farming Life. He's got an awesome channel. He's also a Pennsylvania farmer. He's got a lot bigger area, and he does a lot of great things. So make sure you go out and check him out on YouTube. So he also wrote, "Did you ever do a history on the farm? I see pictures in the background." Yeah, so I kind of covered that in the very beginning. For those of you that have joined now, I'll cover it a little bit more. So yeah, so we live in my mother-in-law's, or my mother-in-law's mother's house. So it'd be my wife's grandmother's house. When we were remodeling the house in 2011, we found old photos, and I'm going to tilt. So these over here, for those of you on Instagram, these, and for those of you on Facebook here, those are the old photos that we found, along with the one from 1958 up on the top. We kept those in the house, and we've always put those in our dining room. The photo here is actually a photo that I took this year and in 2020. So it covers my mother-in-law's place, my sister-in-law's place, and our farm. And then also, this is one that I purchased off of a company called Vintage Aerials, and they basically fly planes around and take pictures of the farm. And yeah, and we purchased it, and I had it turned into a canvas. So we've got 5 different photos of the farm, all different times. This one here for you on Facebook, here for you on YouTube, here for you on Instagram is the newest one. And the oldest one is the one that I had showed earlier in the video. So I got another guy, Craig Milligan, over 50 years veteran in a commercial hay growing and marketing business, longtime cattleman and red Angus breeder. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you, Craig. If you have any questions about anything, feel free. Des Moines, Iowa. Thanks for the feedback. He says he enjoys the channel. That's awesome. So I got another couple folks that joined on Instagram, and got some more over here on Facebook too. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. That's what this is. It's Q&A for anybody that's interested in asking some questions. I know this is more of the personal dialogue that I like to have with those out there watching the videos, kind of about what we're doing. And, if you have any questions, that's what we're here for. So one of the things that we do also is the beef side. So right now we just purchased 13 new beef cattle from a neighboring farm. We also have, we purchased 3 black baldy cows that should be getting ready to calf here very shortly. Today we actually cleaned out the shed, and we had to move the mamas around, and they're starting to bag up, so it's not going to be very long here until we have calves dropping. So Farming Life asked about missed a part on the upgraded outdoor furnace. So it's working out well. By separating that air hole off of the side of the water jacket where the firebox is, it allows that to cool down a lot quicker than the water jacket, so the creosote doesn't stick to it as much. It actually makes it a lot easier to scrape and maintains airflow throughout the furnace a lot easier. I can see why they changed it in the 560. It makes it a lot easier to run. So Travis said, "What part of PA are you from?" I'm from Bedford. Oh, awesome, Travis. So I'm actually in Fayette County. So I'm what would that be? 2 counties over, Somerset, and then it's Fayette, Somerset, and then Bedford, I believe. But yeah, so not terribly far away there, buddy. So we got a few more that have joined over here on Instagram, and a few more on Facebook. So if you remember one of the original videos, I guess that kind of would go into the lows of 2020. is I didn't know what I was doing in the very beginning, right? You know, you watch people out there like The Farming Life, you watch people out there like Millennial Farmer, Cole the Corn Star, whatever, and they just kind of roll with it, right? Let me tell you, from the other side, it is extremely hard to sit there and carry on a conversation with yourself. That is the only time it is acceptable to carry on a conversation with yourself. So that took me a while. So in the very beginning, like if you go back and look at like the baby goats video, you know, we were just starting out. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to make it enjoyable for people to watch. And speaking of the baby goats, we're actually not going to be not that far off from having baby goats. So for those that don't know, we have two kinds of goats. We have La Manchas and Nubians. They're both dairy goats, dairy goat breeds. We don't use them for any kind of commercial milk production or anything like that. They're more like pets. We breed them between November and December. As long as they catch the first time around, we should have babies sometime into March, early April. So this time we bred them a little bit later, so we should be having babies starting in April, and it should be a while. I think we have 8 bred goats right now, so we're going to have tons of babies running around. Last year, you know, with COVID-19, the Fayette County farm was shut down, so we were not able to show goats. It was devastating to my wife, or to my daughter. She's 6 years. She just turned 6 years old the other day. She looks forward to the fair every year. That's like her thing. And she couldn't take them and show her goats. So hopefully this year, fingers crossed, everything goes well and she can show her goats. So Farming Life said nobody knows what they're doing in the beginning, especially me. Don't knock yourself, Eric. You do a hell of a good job out there, and you know, it just goes to show you. I mean, you guys are getting a new farm this year. Your channel's going to take off like crazy. I mean, you're going to be learning the farm all over again. You know, it's going to be a pretty interesting journey for you guys. I'm looking forward to watching. Wait until you make a video when you're in public and a bunch of people stand there and watch. So I haven't got to that point yet where I've shot a video in public, but I'm sure I'm going to get some stares. One of the things that I did is in the new job outside the farm that I got, I had to get a truck to run around for work, and I put a YouTube sticker in the back with the channel name. And I've got some questions on it from work, like, oh, what's that mean? Like, what is that? So then I have to explain myself, like, hey, you know, Rocky Acres Farmstead, you should probably click that subscribe button and follow us. But yeah, that's something I haven't got to yet, is where I go to an auction or somewhere in public and videotape. So Chanratty74 asked, how did you get started? How did I get started was I went to high school one day, and I met this girl that had a Elk County license plate on the front of her vehicle. And Elk County is a county that is north central Pennsylvania. And I have a camp there. We have a hunting camp there. We go every year. And of course, you know, what does any 16-year-old boy do is walks up to the girl and asks, why do you have an Elk County sticker or Elk County license plate on your truck? Next thing you know, some 10 years later-ish, I end up marrying her. You know, we moved on to her family's farm. And like I said before, we milk cow, or my mother-in-law and father-in-law milked cows until 2015. And then in 2015, we kind of made that transition, right? We're gonna switch over to beef. We're gonna switch over to hay. Before, if you see some of the older photos, like this one, well, you can't really see it in any of those, but you know, we planted primarily for dairy. So we planted corn. You know, they planted wheat, stuff to make silage, corn silage. We picked corn. We still have a single row picker. And yeah, so everything still is set up for dairy here. I mean, I could take you into the barn right now. We have a bulk tank. We have an air system. We don't have a parlor. So we walked milk the old fashioned way to the bulk tank every day. And yeah, so how Rocky Acres got its start was when one door closed. That presented another opportunity. And, you know, as long as I'm still alive, I want to make sure this farm continues to be a farm and stays out of the hands of any kinds of developers or anything like that. You know, I've talked about this in multiple videos, but I am so blessed to have the neighbors that we have here. You know, they farm on the right, the left, the front, and the back. We are all in this together, and we want to make sure that the farming way of life stays alive here as well. So the farming life said, that's awesome. What, that my wife actually married me, or that we're going to keep farming? I think it's the wife actually married me. So Kevin Hanley said, what are your major plans for the spring, summer coming up? So major plans for me this year. So I've got goals. It's kind of like if you've ever watched the movie or the show Gold Rush, how they set their season, what they want their goal to be at the end of the season. So my goal for the end of this season is 3,000 square bales, small squares, and about 500 round bales. It's going to be a stretch this year because I lost some of my ground for straw. So as you saw in some of the videos that I did this year, we decided to plant straw this year, or plant rye this year for straw. So I lost 12 acres that way. 12 acres doesn't really seem like a lot, but when you only have, 130 of it farmable, it's a pretty good chunk of ground that we ended up losing. So get that straw off. We're going to rework that ground. We're going to redo hay fields on those two fields. I don't know what kind of hay or what kind of seeds I'm going to plant this year for those. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. We have a Grow Mark that's close. I've been working with the guy from Grow Mark. We have an Agway right down the road. We can have custom blends made up. So if anybody has anything to put out there, let me know. Getting ready to lay the kids down. Have a good evening. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, go see The Farming Life on YouTube. Great channel, great guy. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on him too. He's doing some pretty cool things. He's picking up a farm here very, very shortly. Chan Ratty 74 said, are you going to get rid of the rake? I know a lot of people that have rotary rakes and love them. So right now, to answer your question, no, I'm not going to get rid of the rake. So I'm going to try to fix the rake to run it off of 2 SCVs. The reason I'm not getting rid of the rake is because I'm trying to save all the money this year that we made. I want to get a round bale wagon. There are certain things that I need to get to update the arsenal that we have currently. Getting another rake, even though that one causes me as much heartache as it does, getting rid of that rake right now just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to hold on to that rake as much as I hate it. And you are spot on, Chan Ratty. It sucks sometimes. I have to hold on to it right now until I'm in a little bit different of a position that I can afford to dump that one and pick up another one. Rotary rake is something I would probably look at, but I like the speed at which you can rake with a V rake. So I'd rather it maybe be like a high capacity wheel rake versus what I have right now. I should have went with the high capacity the first time, but when they told me the price of what the high capacity wheel rake was, I was like, no, we're not doing that. Travis said, I have to go. I have to put the kids to bed. Yep. All right, Travis, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Keep commenting. Keep watching those videos, and I really appreciate everything. So we're going to open up again. Anybody have comments, questions, concerns that they want to talk about? We'll go for a little bit longer here, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. So yeah, floor's up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to talk about, the floor is yours. The one thing that I will bring up though real quick is, I know when you see some channels out there, you'll see, you'll see a channel and it'll be nothing but X. What I'm trying to do is give a little bit wider of a view, right? So I don't want to call it a blog because it's not a blog or a vlog or whatever you want to call it. This is, it's a farmstead channel, right? You look up the definition of a farmstead and it covers all the different buildings that make up a farm. And this is no different. This is all the different things that it takes to run our farm, including the garden and all that stuff like that. So canning this year, I do have to show you what my wife bought me for my birthday this year. So I turned 35 years young about 3 weeks ago. And on my 35th birthday, she bought me one of the nicest birthday presents that I've ever got. It is a 1/2 horsepower grinder. Look at this bad mama jamma. So if I can't chew up tomatoes with this year, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm going to be able to juice more. The blackberry episode that you guys saw that we did, that is pretty much what blew up my last grinder, was the berries on how coarse they are. So this one here, not going to be a problem at all. At all. So I got new recyclable homestead. Hello, Rocky Acres. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Christner's Farm says, how's the rye look that you planted? So the rye looks really good. I'm happy with it. I know. So for those of you who don't know, I ended up getting the drill. So the drill is owned by Fayette County Conservation District, and you can rent it. It comes with a fee for a certain amount of acres. However many acres you plant is what the fee is, etc. So I actually ended up getting it off of the neighbor, and he brought it down, showed me how to run it, and he told me, you want to put this wheel over a little bit to make sure that you can close the gap. I ended up planting a little bit into the evening the first night, so I planted over 2 nights. I ended up planting a little bit over into the evening on the first night. And you can kind of tell I'm like a little bit all over the place. But other than my terrible planting job, the rye itself looks great. I fertilized it right after we planted it. And then I'm going to hit it again with some triple 19 according to the soil sample that I got. I'm going to hit it again with triple 19 this spring. Probably here, I would say within the next, it's March now, probably within the next 5 weeks, I'll probably hit it with a little bit more. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how the rye turned out for the first time planting it. So over here on Instagram, I got Chan Ratty. He said, any good advice for a young kid that wants to start a farm? I'm trying to restore my grandfather's farm, which needs a lot of help. So I can tell you this. And today was no different. So today I woke up about 6 o'clock. By about 7:30, my father-in-law came down and we started hauling manure out of our sheds. We got 4 or 5 loads done, no problems, no issues at all. And then on the 4th load or 5th load, the chain broke on the manure spreader. So it's chain-driven manure spreader. It's a International 550. You've seen it in the episodes before. I got to take a sip of beer. Hold on. You've seen it in some of the episodes before. So that happened at 9. 9 o'clock in the morning is when the chain broke. We didn't get started back up again loading manure until 11:30. Took one load out and then found out that we actually put in extra link in one side. So the chain started to tilt a little bit. So I had to take it apart again, fix it, put it back together. The one thing I will tell you, Chan Ratty, to answer your question, is coming from someone who didn't farm until I married into it. There are days that are awesome. There are days that when the sun goes down and you're looking at a freshly cut field, or you're looking at a field you just got done baling, you have that sense of accomplishment, and you have that sense that makes it all feel like, you know, the heartache and the hours and all that stuff that led up to that moment was worth it. And there's no better feeling in the world. I'm telling you, there's no better feeling in the world. But then for days that are like that, there are opposite days where it feels like somebody is playing a joke on you, that things are just going horrendous. Those are the days that make you a farmer, are the days that it is tough and you have to fight through it. Things keep breaking. Things aren't working. Those are the days. And my advice to you is, no matter how bad it gets, you always keep your head down and you keep moving forward, period. End of story. Persistence, persistence, persistence. That's one piece of advice. Second piece of advice is, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to say it again. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. So there's a book that I read when I worked for my old company, not the one that I work for now. It's called The Goal. The author was Eliyahu M. Goldratt, and it talks about, it's written as if it's almost like a story play. And that book, and it's basically, it makes you step back, and it asks, you know, when you start a business, what is your goal? The goal of every business, unless it's a nonprofit, is to make money. And last time I checked, Rocky Acres Farmstead is not a nonprofit. So the goal is to make money. So if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Earlier in 2020, it didn't make sense for me to plant corn. Now it might make sense for me to plant corn because it's at $5.20 or $5.60 or $5.50 a bushel. Same thing with the straw. You don't plant rye straw unless you have a market for it. You don't plant hay unless you have a market for it. So if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. So those are the two pieces of advice I would give you. So I've got some other thing. Christner Farm says, just do urea in the spring. Don't waste the P and the K unless you're putting it there for the next crop. So according to the soil sample that I did, it does the succession. It does rye, then like a alfalfa hay mix next. And it tries to tell you to do the soil amendments for each one of them. So if you do X, when the second crop comes in, you only have to do a little bit of X, and your third crop, whatever. So that's why I was calling for the 1919. The soil, I don't want to say the soil is fallow, but the soil is not where it needs to be. So when I take that rye crop off, I'm actually going to try to get, I should have got lime on it before I planted, but I didn't have the time. I was under the gun. So once I take the rye off, I'll top dress it with the lime, and then I'm not going to do my alfalfa hay planting until late summer. Yeah, so I know I'm not, those fields are only going to give me rye straw this year, and that's it. But no, good point. Very good point. So Craig said, I used to make 18,000 small square bales. Holy cow, 704 foot wide by 6 foot tall rounds each year. Wow. 18,000, my hat's off to you, because that's insane. You had to have people working for you with that amount of small square bales. Right now, you know, if it, I said it in one of the older videos, I think it was a square bale and second cutting, if I'm not sure. My wife's cousin Chuck come down. A friend of ours, John, came down. There were a number of individuals that came down to help me, including my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law. All those folks to make the square bales that we made this year. If we didn't have those folks, there's no way possible that we would have been able to do what we were able to do this year. So 18,000, I have no clue how I don't even have the ground for that one. But if I did have the ground for that, I don't even know how I'd be able to get 8,000 square bales with the people that I have now. They would quit on me. But that's an impressive feat for sure. And those are some 4x6. Did he say 4x6 round bales? Whew. That's some big bales. Looking around, does anybody else have any questions? This is a great dialogue, guys. I really appreciate it. Mostly made hay myself. I didn't get much sleep. Obviously, there's a channel that I watch too. That it's a hay farm in Arizona, bales hay. He has a whole business in making hay, but some of the stuff that he does is it's shocking. I mean, I think they ended up putting a steamer on one of their small square balers last year because the clover was so dry it would lose all of its organic matter when it was going through the baler, and they had to put a steamer on it to add a little bit of moisture to it. I mean, just crazy stuff. But yeah, that 18,000, that's an impressive feat. I can tell you this: if I hit my goal next year of 3,000, I'll be pretty happy with that. I'll be able to take care of my customers that I have year over year, people like Kelly, and make sure that I have a little bit for myself. And then if we want to sell a little bit of extras, after we started making small squares, we forgot how nice it is to feed goats with those small squares. So, we've actually been feeding some of our first cut and square bales to our goats now, and it makes it so much easier. So, well, hey, we're going to go, we'll go another couple minutes here and then we'll wrap it up. Once again, I want to tell everyone I appreciate all of you that have tuned in. Like I said, we're at 733 subs before this live. I ask you, if you haven't already, please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on all social media platforms. We've got all three going right now. Follow us on all social media platforms. You guys make it enjoyable for me to do what I'm doing over here. And my goal on subscribers is 1,000 before hay season. So that's 1,000 before the end of May. So help me get there. Help me get there. That would be awesome. Chan Ratty said, keep up the videos. I enjoy them. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Craig said, I used a Holscher accumulation system. Yeah, so that would make it, having an accumulator would make things a lot easier. The kicker does well. So that kicker is from 1974. She owes us nothing. I mean, there's been a ton of hay to go through that John Deere 336. She doesn't owe us anything. And I don't know. Who knows? In the next couple of years, that might get updated. I think that would probably get updated before the rake gets updated. That's for sure. I see you over on Facebook, Hosty. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all's well. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up for now. Like I said, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't already, go to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, cost you nothing, and follow us on all social media platforms. And from Nick here at Rocky Acres, we'll see you.